the Yessy's Designs podcast, episode number 8. My name is Yessy. I'm the knitwear designer behind Yessy's Designs. I was born and raised in Colombia, and I'm recording my podcast from my studio here in Connecticut. I hope that you enjoy the episode today that I have prepared for you. And as you could see, we started with a little video that got misplaced with the last episode. It's a little pond that we have close by, and it just looks so beautiful and peaceful. One day that it was raining, and then I showed you another day that it was sunny. We love to go to that area. We just find it a very peaceful place to go to. Now for this episode, I'm gonna be talking with you about what I'm wearing, some projects that I'm working on, a pattern that was just released, some acquisitions, a little bit of what happened on local yarn store day that took place on April 29. And I'm also gonna give you the prize winner from episode 7, and I'm gonna show you what is the prize that you can get, that one of you can get from episode number 8. So with that, let's begin. Let's start with what I am wearing. Now, maybe you have seen this pattern before if you have been following me on Instagram, and I have a few tutorials about this piece on my YouTube channel. So this is my Dominga Cowl. This is a pattern that was inspired by my great grandmother Dominga. Since I was little, I remember that most of her dresses, they were made of lace. She loved wearing lace. She always looked so beautiful, and she looked so elegant in these very cute dresses that she had. So very respectfully, I wanted to design something that would remind me of that, of those dresses that I saw her when I was growing up. So this cowl has a picot edging, as you can see here. It has eyelets over here, and then it ends up with a lace pattern on the top. I find this pattern so engaging and so sweet to work on. And also, if you have known me for a little bit, you know that I also need a lot for my daughter. So I had to make one in a child size. So this is hers. Includes instructions as to how to make the child version and the adult version. Now the yarns that I use to work for these cowls are from Earth Yarns. This is just one skein, and look how beautiful these colors flow. Such a pretty colorway. And this yarn is also from Earth Yarns. The patterns include tutorials, so if you are not familiar about how to make a picot edging, I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel that shows you how to work on the picot edging. It's not complicated, it's not hard at all, and it's way well worth the time to have this cute little edging over here. So this is made from bottom up, so you start with the picot edging, and then you work on the eyelets, and then you go and work on the lace. It's very engaging, if I can say so myself. I have made quite a few versions. There are ready to ship Dominga Cowls on my website. So if you go there, you're gonna see that some versions include stripes. So you also have directions about how to make this cowl with stripes, just one stripe around. There are just solid colors, and there are 2 colors. So it shows instructions also about how to work it on a fade, so you can fade between one color and the next one. And anyway, when I first designed this pattern, it was hard. It was hard to stop. I think I have made a total of maybe 10, and I made them like in a row. The last one that I made was a sample for my local yarn store, Stars Hollow Yarns, using, what is the name of the yarn? Garthenor. Beautiful yarn. I have used this yarn a few times for a few pieces, and it's just a beautiful yarn. So these cowls are so nice and engaging to work on. So you can take a look at that and see if that's something that you would like to have on your needles. They are a little bit addicting once you get the hang of making the eyelets and you memorize where they go. It's time to work on the lace. So it's a very, very engaging pattern. Easy enough that you can work on maybe if you're watching a movie. This part, it's easy. Maybe you have to focus a little more when you're working on the lace. So the cowl, if you notice, it decreases on the top, so you don't have to fold it or anything like that. It stays over here very nicely. So it's a very nice piece to wear, for example, in the weather that we are having these days here in Connecticut, when it's a little bit cool but not that cold. It's warm but it's not that warm. So if you're wearing a blouse with no sleeves like I'm wearing today, and this is just a very nice addition to an outfit, because you're just warm in the place where you need to be warm. So take a look at that. This is the Dominga Cowl. So this is what I am wearing today, and some bracelets that I made with my daughter. That's it. I also have a few bracelets on my website that are ready to ship. They are crystal sweaters or beaded, sorry, not sweaters, bracelets, or crystal bracelets. It's just a handful of pieces that are there that we made, that we work on together, so you can take a look at that. Now let's go and talk about the pattern that was just released. It was the Esteban Cowl. So here you have a picture about how the pattern looks, and that is the cowl that I was wearing on episode number 7. That is the cowl that I'm gonna wear from the moment I leave my house to the moment I arrive in Colombia the next time I go. And I'm gonna have a whole new photo shoot over there in Colombia, so it can just add to the meaning of this pattern. So if you want to know about the design inspiration, what this pattern means, why is this pattern so special, you can go to episode 8. I also talk about it on episode 7, and you can have a full description on my blog. So you can go to my blog on my website, and there I just want you to have the most Colombian experience that I can give you from here. So the next time I go, I'm gonna make sure that I take a lot of videos, that I show you so much of the beauty that is there in the area where I grew up on the Caribbean. Now not this pattern, the Esteban Cowl, it's also very special, and I have mentioned that before too, because a percentage of the pattern sales is gonna go to my nephew towards his education, and another percentage is gonna go to a group of children that fled Venezuela with their parents. So I'm gonna be, as much as I can with the sale of the patterns, I'm gonna be providing them with some school materials, maybe a backpack, notebooks, pencils, some of the things that they would need to use on a regular basis when they go to school. So I thank you in advance for the warm welcome towards the Esteban Cowl, and I cannot wait to gather all the materials and everything that I can gather for this group of children, and to give my nephew something towards his education. So thank you so much for that. I truly believe that as we receive something, we should also help others, as little or as much we can help. Every help or everything that we can contribute to a good cause is good. So it's very meaningful to me that a portion of the pattern sales plus what I usually give when I go there, like these two things combined, is gonna help a group of children even if it's a little bit, but it's gonna help. So I'm very excited for this is one of the things that makes me excited to go back home again, and just continue to spread the love. So thank you for the warm welcome that you have been giving to the Esteban Cowl. Now, about the pattern, I worked, I know I have mentioned that before, but I would like to mention it again. I worked with woolstock yarn from Blue Sky Fibers as part of the Blue Sky Fibers Makers Program. So I'm part of that program for this year, 2023. So I work with these yarns with them, and I chose the two colors for that pattern that are representative of the sombrero volteado from the Caribbean part of Colombia, from the coast. And I'm looking forward to continue to work on this pattern in other colorways. Now, once I go there and I show you footage of everything that is around us when we go, for example, to the touristic places on the beaches, or if there is a craft fair by the time I get there in the city, you're gonna see that there are so many colors. You have a lot of neutrals because these two colors are very representative of the art there, but you also have a lot of color combinations that I maybe would have put together at some point. But when you see so much color and so much beauty, you just see that everything goes. Neons with pastels, neons and neutrals, or bright colors with more bright colors. It's just a beautiful, it's a delight to all the senses to see these colors together. So I look forward to make more Esteban cowls in the future in all kinds of colorways. Now, that is one of the things that I think makes me not be, I don't know what word to use in here, so bear with me for a second. I'm not releasing, let me see what I'm trying to say. I don't release many patterns in the year. And I think it's because I make so many of the patterns that I have already released. So, for example, the Candlewood cardigan that was released not too long ago, I'm working on my third but on the third Candlewood cardigan for my daughter. Magdalena beanies, I just finished another one. Now, when I work on one, then I see another color from my stash, and I think, this yarn or these two yarns together, they would make a Magdalena beanie be so much more beautiful. So I find myself working in a lot of my patterns, even the first ones that I released quite a few years ago, and I love that. So I don't put too much pressure on releasing because I still enjoy the making. So I make for myself, I make for my children, I can make for friends. I'm not making that much for the website, but every now and then I add something new to the website because I just loved it, and I think somebody might enjoy having this pattern. Now, since I'm talking about that, I am trying to go to one pop-up market this year. I just contacted the organizers from this market that would take place in November and December. I am trying to get a spot for November. I'm still waiting to hear from them, but if I get accepted, that would be the only market that I would do this year. I have so many beanies, and with all of that, my husband is like, "You're making more," and say, "Yes, I just, I mean, when you love the yarn, when you love what you do, I just love to make it. I work on magnolia beanies so much. Mary beanies are some of the favorite beanies from my website. So usually when there is a new Mary beanie, soon after somebody gets it, is one of the most popular patterns. The magnolia headbands, things like that. So when I'm not looking for yarns, or when I'm not looking to work on a project in particular, sometimes it happens that, I like this with this pattern, so I make it and I put it away. I have a few plastic containers where I keep the beanies that are from the website, so they don't get dusty or anything like that. And when I finish one, I say, it's in a row. Like if I make one, there is a second one from the same pattern happening. So I really like that because it also reassures me that if I enjoy making something so much, most likely there is another knitter out there that likes to work on that piece too. And very often, some of the ones that purchase the patterns and they don't have an Instagram, for example, they send me an email and they say, Yessy, I made, for example, the Northern Views cowl is that cowl that has the snowflakes, and there is another version included in the pattern that has the snowflakes and the hearts. And they say, I made this one, and then I thought, this friend is gonna like these two, so I made this one for another friend, and I made this one for another friend. So when I see that some of you are working on these patterns on repeat, even though you have purchased them long ago, that makes me, very, very happy, very humble, a very humble feeling, but very happy that you guys like working on these patterns more than once. And that's in the position where I find myself very often. I just work on them very often. And later I'm going to show you something that I got in the mail yesterday. And I'll talk about it in a little while, but I have the yarn right here. And it's like it's just so very pretty, and I cannot wait to start making with this yarn. And I know that when I start working on that pattern, it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna happen, the first one, the second one, the third one, and then who knows when I get to work on another pattern to be released, because I'm just busy with my needles and that specific pattern. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share with you from the Esteban cowl. Now the other thing that I wanted to say too is that if you are new to Fair Isle, don't feel intimidating. If you see, for example, the Esteban cowl and you see quite a few things going on. Now the pattern just uses two colors, so you just have to handle two colors, and that's great. That's very easy if you are new to Fair Isle. The other thing is that the pattern includes just charts. It doesn't include written instructions, but since it is in just two colors, you are not going to find it difficult to follow the chart, because it's one light color and a dark one. So it's very easy. You are not going to lose your place as you work on the charts. So don't feel intimidated by the pattern, or if you see that it's just too much going on a Fair Isle piece, on a small piece, don't feel intimidated. It's very easy to work on this piece. And very now and then I really like to release something that it's also gonna be enjoyed by a knitter that doesn't have that much experience yet, or a new knitter. Because I remember when I first started knitting in 2008, I was absolutely intimidated by everything. At the place where I took my first lessons, they were surrounded by so many patterns, or sweaters or beanies, purses, mainly in Colombia. At least in that place where I took my lessons, it's a hot place. It's in the Caribbean. Now the yarn store that included also everything for sewing and gift making, things to wrap gifts and things like that. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. You won't see that many sweaters there because it's so hot that we don't wear sweaters. If you go to a yarn store, for example, here where I live in Connecticut, or most likely if you have yarn stores and you live in places that has the four seasons, you're gonna see a lot of sweaters there. Now the place where I went, more than sweaters, I would say they just had maybe a couple sweaters. Mostly the samples were bags. So the bags were crocheted. They were also knit bags in the YU style. That is one of the styles that we learn very early on if we are learning how to knit or learning how to crochet. So that's what you would see. But I was absolutely intimidated by all of that. I took my first few lessons, and I'm honestly gonna say that I finished my lessons. This is embarrassing, not knowing how a net or a pearl look like. So there is another episode that I will release at some point this year because I just started working um, on a pattern that is gonna touch on that. So I would have a whole episode about how I started and the yarn that I used and all of that. But I think back on those days and I remember that I finished all my lessons. I left my lessons with a hat and a scarf, and I didn't know how a net stitch looked like or a pearl. I couldn't tell the difference because I couldn't see the difference. So I would touch on that at some point this year on a future episode. But I would see all of these ladies coming in with their pieces that they were making, and I was embarrassed to say, "How do you do that?" And now thinking back of all those pieces, it was just knits and pearls. I'm sure there was some seaming with the purses, but it was mostly knits and pearls. And so when I release some patterns, I just want to appeal also to those new knitters because there are many patterns that look complicated, but they are really not, where you just need knits. You just need to knit or to purl, and you're going to end up with a beautiful, beautiful piece. So the Esteban Cowl is one of those. If you're new to Fair Isle, this might be one of the patterns that you can give it a try. If you're an adventurous knitter, give it a try. Don't be intimidated because there is no seaming involved, for example. So just take that out of your head. There is no seaming. It's just a cowl that is knitted from bottom up. Fair Isle, knits, pearls. There is no decrease, no increases. So it's very nice. It's a beautiful pattern to work on. Very engaging too because it's very hard to stop. Like what I see when I work on a cable piece, it's very hard to stop at the next row because you see everything taking its shape. That's what I saw with this pattern too. It was very hard to stop it because it's like you see it like a drawing. Like if you were painting, you see everything taking place, and it made it very hard to stop. So as much as I try to be organized with the pieces that I try to make for the year, it's very often that I get sidetracked, and and I don't get stressed about that. I enjoy the process. It's slow living. It's I really enjoy the process. That's all I can say. I enjoy the beautiful yarn. I enjoy turning the yarn into a ball. I enjoy choosing the needles and what colors to put together, and the whole process of sitting down, listening to music, or having my diffuser, or watching a movie, or mostly what I do is either listening to music or listening to an audiobook, or another reading that I do, or watching a podcast. So I enjoy the whole thing. To me, nothing is a waste of time when you are really enjoying what you're doing. Okay, so now let's move on to some of the works in progress. Okay, so there is not too much difference from episode 7 to episode 8 as to the works in progress that I have because as I mentioned in my last podcast, we were sick. I got sick again this month, so I did not knit too much. So for example, I'm working still on the Mary All oversized scarf. So this scarf is a custom order for a friend, and I'm working with Cover Story from Lion Brand. So the scarf has been growing. If you have seen this scarf, is oversized, so it's really long. It's the ultimate cozy scarf, super pretty. Now I reached a point where I would have to meet my friend and she can let me know if this is the length that she wants or if she wants it longer. Now between me being sick and she has been sick too, we haven't been able to see each other for a few weeks, so I haven't been able to show these to her in person, but that's something that is gonna have to happen soon because I would like her to enjoy this piece before it gets really, really hot. I mean, the mornings and the evenings are gonna be cool anyway. In Connecticut, a lot of the mornings are gonna be cool. and the evening. So I know she's gonna still have opportunities to enjoy that even in the summer. But I want her to enjoy it when it's mostly cool. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on. Again, the yarn it's thicker than a super bulky. It's cover story from Lion Brand, very soft, very cozy. So working on an oversized piece with big needles and a big yarn, it just works up pretty quickly. Even though it has a few cables going on and it has a twist stitch in the design. Now I mentioned in my last podcast, or every now and then you're gonna see me mispronouncing something because I mean it doesn't matter how many years I have been here. My there are just some words that don't come that easily. Besides the accent that I'm sure you have noticed. So I have mentioned in my last podcast that it's easier to see the design of this scarf on a solid color yarn. This yarn has a few colors in it, so it's a little bit harder to see. I noticed that the camera doesn't show it that well. When you are in front of the piece, you can see the design better than what you see on the camera, but you can really see the design in all its glory when it is a solid color. Now, these are her favorite colors, so I know she's gonna just love this piece, and I cannot wait for her to see it in person. So that's one of the work in progress that I have. And I'm also working on my daughter's third Candlewood cardigan. This is yarn from Hobbii. This is mega ball of yarn. This is an acrylic yarn. Let me see, you can see its color. They're very soft color. And one of the things that, or one of the adjustments that I did for this Candlewood cardigan for her is that this is just acrylic. I have used Portobello for the other two that she has. Portobello yarn is a mix of, it's not a mix, a blend of acrylic, wool, and I think something else. So it's a yarn, or it's a piece that you're gonna end up wearing more with this yarn when it's really cold. Now I wanted her to have an acrylic piece because it's soft on her skin. She's sensitive to a lot of the fibers, a lot of the wool, and even some wool blends. So this is something that she can wear when she's wearing a tank top or a short sleeve shirt in the days that are cooler here. So that's one of the adjustments that I did. So I'm right now working on the first sleeve. I'm almost done with the twisted stitches for the sleeve. Then I have to work on the cuff. And if you can notice, I worked on the twisted stitches. I did more pattern repeats on this cardigan here. And the reason why is that this cardigan is really long. So a lot the first sample that I made, and that's the sample that you have in the pattern, it has a length that is a little bit under the waist. The second one that I made for her, and I'm gonna show you when I show you finished pieces, is under her waist, like way under her waist, and this one is way longer than that. So we love cardigans. She and I, we love to wear cardigans. So I wanted to make this one longer for her. So I'm gonna show you how it looks on her once I finished it. But those are the only two adjustments that I made. So working on this stitch pattern makes this fabric look so very pretty. Again, the twisted stitches are left and right twisted stitches is just so pretty. And I would like to include these, for example, with the Milagro sweater that I also released in child version. I have yarn to make her a version with just short sleeves, so she would have that version. But these I find these stitches so beautiful. The texture is just so pretty that I would like to include it for a short version, a short sleeve version of the Milagro sweater for her. So that's the that's the other thing, and I know I just touched about that, but the possibilities are just endless. So when you think that you are done, for example, with a pattern, you're really not. And I have made so many Milagro sweaters for both of them, and to have a short version and then add, for example, this texture or this other, let's add stripes, or let's add, for example, I see these and I would like to include some eyelets on something like that. It's something that it keeps us going, like, right? It keeps the creativity going. So I have had knitters that say, Jesse, do you mind if I um, for example, with the Magnolia Beanie, they have purchased the Magnolia Beanie from Darn Good Yarn. They are the only ones that have the pattern. And then they say, I want to include that in a cowl. Is that okay? And he's, yes. I mean, you are not releasing the pattern, right? Use that however you would like to use it. Include that. That pattern is just yours. If you want to include those stitches in something else, please. I love that you guys want to continue to work and add your own touch to things. So that is for the works in project. So as I told you, I don't have that many going on right now because I'm just getting better right now. I lost my voice and I'm getting my voice back. It's mostly here right now, but it's still a little raspy, and between the sinus infection that I had and the allergies, in all its glory over here, it's like now you don't know what is better and what is worse. So that's where we are right now. So I didn't need much, honestly. I did not. Um, but I'm enjoying the pieces that I'm working on right now. But I could finish two pieces. So let's go to finished pieces, and I'm gonna show you what I finished. So if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I was working on a Magdalena Beanie. So I finished it. Let me see if the camera gets it. Okay, maybe here. Just be a little patient. So I don't know. Okay, here. So I worked on this Magdalena Beanie, and I work with yarn from Queenie Crochet. The name of this colorway is Sunny Days, and it is such a beautiful. It's like a white bluish main color, and then it has the blue speckles, the yellow speckles, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful yarn. So when I used this yarn for the first time for another project, I still had this skein, a new skein. So I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to turn that into a Magdalena Beanie. So I made this one, and it is so soft. It is so pretty with the folded brim. You can find also the pattern for the Magdalena Beanie in my shops, Ravelry, Etsy, on my website. And this is also one of the patterns that I have made so much. I have made it, and I'm gonna include a picture in here. I have made it with merino. I have made it with merino and mohair. It's just beautiful luxury beanies in yarns that are not as luxurious, but again, they are also so very pretty. So this is one yarn that I wanted to use for the Magdalena Beanie, and I am so happy with how it looks like. Now I don't know what is going to happen with this beanie. I have so many for myself. I don't think I'm going to keep this one. So for now, it's going to go to my containers where I have the beanies. So it might make it to the website, or I might save it for a future pop-up market. I'm not sure, but when I have the next shop update, then I will let you know in an episode or my newsletter, when my newsletter will have everything too, if this beanie made it there or not. But anyway, if you're watching this episode and you would like to have this beanie, or if you would like to ask me, what is the yarn exactly, or anything that you would like to know about this beanie because you would like to have it, let me know. Send me a message and or an email, and I will get back to you. So for now, this beanie doesn't have a forever home, but I will take good care of it. So that's my first finished project. And the second finished project is another Candlewood cardigan, the one that I showed you on my last episode. I was making another one in this misty green. So this is finished. I finished it. It's so beautiful. It's so pretty. So I'm gonna include here a picture of my daughter wearing her Candlewood cardigan. You can see here that it's longer than the original pattern calls for. And this is something that I also wanted because, again, my children, they grow so fast. They grow so fast. I want her to use these cardigans. So the cardigan is oversized anyway. So that part is taken care of. It's oversized, but I wanted it to be a little longer. So as she grows, she can continue to use this beanie. I don't want her to use it as a crop version. She doesn't like that. So this is still gonna be a little longer for her. So these are my two finished pieces. The yarn for this Candlewood cardigan is Portobello from Hobbii. Beautiful yarn. I loved it. They sent it to me to work for the Candlewood cardigan, and I fell in love with that yarn. And there is some over here that I have left. I think I'm gonna make either a blouse or some beanies. I'm not sure yet, but there are some that are left. But I ordered new yarn in this color because I just fell in love of this color. So when I finish the one that I'm working on, I'm gonna show you how these three colors look together. They are just so pretty. So that's it for finished pieces. Now I'm gonna show you a little bit of footage from local yarn store day that took place on April 29. So I went just for a little bit to my local yarn store, Stars Hollow Yarns. They had so many things going on, raffles, they have kits, mystery bags, beautiful yarn selection. The day that I went, I just came from the doctor because I wasn't feeling that good, but I just wanted to make sure exactly what is it that I have, making sure that I wasn't contagious or anything. So after the appointment, I just dropped quickly over there and show a little bit of support. So I got a few things and some things that, oh, they are just so pretty. And I was so happy to see that there were so many makers there choosing the yarn. So some of the time that I was there, it was just looking at the other ladies, and it's just mesmerizing to see, they have this project in mind and they are looking for yarns for this project. They were trying the yarns like against their skin, like what looks better. So it was very nice. It was very nice to see and to support a business that brings so much joy to our days, a business that keeps the love for our craft going, that keeps us motivated. It was always so nice. So I'm gonna show you what I got that day. So Lisa, the owner from Stars Hollow Yarns, she showed us this new bag that she has there. I forgot to check before I started recording the episode if these bags are on her website, but if they are not there, just send her a message. I'm sure that she will be happy to send a bag to you. So I got a bag from Stars Hollow Yarns, perfect for a sweater project. So I'm gonna be having a sweater project in here. So there is a sweater that I'm gonna be working on later in the year, one for my daughter, one for me, and it's one from Anna Johanna. I have loved her designs for quite some time, and during COVID I think it was when she released her book Strands of Joy. I got the book from Stars Hollow Yarns, and every single piece in there, it is so beautiful. So there is now I cannot recall the name of the sweater, but you're gonna see it later when I work on it. So I'm gonna show you the yarns that I chose for my sweater. So it's gonna need 3 of these yarns. I'm waiting for Stars Hollow to get their next shipment of Amano yarn so I can get these colors. This color. So this will be the main color for mine. This is Amano yarn, 60% superwash merino wool, 30% Pima cotton, and 10% linen. These are made in Peru. Let me try to get, maybe it doesn't adjust that well in there. Anyway, look at the color. It is so beautiful in this like lime green. Let me see if it has the name of the color. I don't see it right now. But here you go. So this is gonna be the main color for my sweater, and it's a Fair Isle sweater. And the contrasting color is gonna be this color, also from Amano yarns. So this is how it's gonna look. The contrasting color is gonna be towards the bottom or at the bottom of the sweater. So I just fell in love of this color combination. So this is something that I would wear in the fall, but I wanted to bring some of the colors from spring and summer into the fall, because once, I don't know about you, but I love all colors. I don't have a favorite color. My daughter, she asks me every now and then, what is your favorite? When she's making a drawing, and let's say that she's making me and she draws a dress, what is your favorite color so I can put it on the dress in your drawing? I don't have a favorite color. I love all colors, but when fall starts, I notice that I get more into the earth tones. So knowing that, because I have seen that almost every fall, I wanted to choose something that wasn't just earth tones. I wanted to bring some color into the fall. So those are the colors that I chose for my sweater. And my daughter chose these colors for her. So this yarn is Spud and Claw. This is fine sock. This is superwash, 80% wool, 20% silk. So this is super soft to the touch. So look at this color. This is like an aqua color. Let me see if the colorway is here. I might need my glasses. I cannot see the name of the color, but it's equally pretty. So I have to get another one of these. I thought I had another skein of this color, but it's the same company, but it's in a worsted weight, and this is fine fingering weight. So it's gonna need 3 of these colors. And for the bottom, for the contrasting color, she chose this color. Look at it. This is so her. It has reds and pinks, mostly pink, but it has some reds in there, and I think with this color is just gonna be a beautiful contrast. This is from Leading Men Fiber Arts, Center Stage for Color. The colorway is Flamingo I couldn't say it, sorry. Let me try again. So the colorway for this yarn is Flamingo Lingo. It's super pretty, so I'm so looking forward to work on these colorful pieces, hopefully right before fall starts, and once it starts, we can wear our matching sweaters. So I love this. So I just picture the two of us walking in all of these beautiful colors together. So how can you not knit when there is so much yarn, beautiful yarn around? So thank you, Lisa, for the beautiful selection that you bring to your store. And I was looking for a project bag that would hold my sweater quantity projects, and this is gonna be the one that I'm gonna be using for these two. So I'm looking forward to that, to knit with these beautiful colors. Now, that's about local yarn store day. Yarn that I just purchased, and as you can see, I have some more yarn that most of these yarns, they have a project in mind. There are just a few that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them yet, but most of them, there is a plan for them. So somehow things are gonna fall into place, and I'm gonna be able to work on all of these projects somehow. The only thing I can tell you is that I'm gonna enjoy every single stage from working on all of these in all of these beautiful yarns. So yesterday I got some happy mail, and it's so humbling, and I am so incredibly thankful for yarn companies that have supported me, that show trust in my work even before I show them what is it that I have in mind. They just say, Yessy, are you gonna be working on anything, or any are you gonna be working on any pattern releases, or is there any new pattern that you're working on that you would like us to maybe help you with yarn, or support you with yarn, give you yarn support. So Round Mountain Fibers, it's a yarn company that I have worked with before. If you remember my Isabella Beanie, and they also gave me yarn support for the Isabella Beanie a few years ago. And talking to Monica, I said, I have another beanie pattern that I'm gonna release at some point this year, and she very generously, very kindly, she sent me the yarn to design for the yarn to use to design these beanies. So I have in my notebook the main thing that I want for this beanie. For example, the cable that I'm gonna use is gonna be a cable beanie. The crease that I want, the look that I want. And yesterday when I saw the yarn, I just put it on the counter, and I was just looking at it. They are so beautiful. So let me just stop talking and show this to you. So thank you, Monica. Thank you. I cannot wait. I'm gonna finish what I'm working on, and as soon as I finish that, I'm gonna be working with these yarns. They are absolutely precious. So this is the company. Wait a second. This is Willow Worsted from Round Mountain Fibers. Look at this color. Now this is Cohosh Blue. It looks a little bit more like purple. Beautiful, super soft yarn. So this is gonna be enough. One skein is gonna be enough for a beanie. So there is gonna be a beanie made in this beautiful color. I just noticed that it matches my Dominga Cowl that I'm wearing. So I'm gonna be working with this one. She also sent me this one that is called Cactus Pink. Look at it. So pretty. Wait until the end when I show how they all look together. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. Now this next one is called, oh my goodness, I know I'm gonna say this wrong, so please forgive me. Lichen. It's a beautiful green. It's a beautiful green. Look at that. It is so pretty. And the last one is called Jewel Wheat Stem. Look at these colors. These colors are so beautiful for spring. Look at these. They all look so beautiful together. So beautiful together. It's like a bouquet of flowers, really. So I have this now on my desk. My working desk is white as everything else in my studio. Everything is white except for the yarn. So look at this. It's so pretty. So thank you so much. And these are absolutely soft. I cannot wait to start working with these yarns. Now, thank you so much again. Thank you. And thank you for, I know it's never enough to say, I don't know how else to say thank you, but to try to make justice with the yarns that you send me, or do my best when somebody puts their trust in me with my work. So now I have two more things to share with you, and then we're gonna be reaching the end of episode 8. And I think it's time to say who is the prize winner from episode. So, if you remember on episode 7, the prize is this beautiful project bag that I purchased at Stars Hollow Yarns, and this is handmade by Jessa. She's the one that made this beautiful, sorry, stitched by Jessa. She's the one that made it, and she has a beautiful selection of her pieces at Stars Hollows. And again, I don't think we can have enough project bags. I love project bags so very much. I don't think there is enough. I'm still looking for another bag for a sweater quantity project. I love the one from Stars Hollow Yarns, but I'm thinking if I'm gonna be working on 2 sweaters, maybe I should get another another sweater, another big project bag for another sweater project. So the winner of this bag, and I chose it randomly from the comments from episode 7, is Sarah's Crochet Craft. So thank you so much, Sarah, for being here. I have been in touch with Sarah for so many years. She makes beautiful, beautiful work. She's crocheting so many beautiful things lately. She also works with amazing, beautiful yarns. She hand dyes yarn as well. So thank you so much, Sarah. I'm going to be sending this your way. So I'm going to get in touch with you on Instagram, and I'm going to be sending you your new beautiful project bag. So enjoy it. And again, thank you so much for your comment. Thank you so much for being here. I am so glad that you are enjoying these episodes. So this is gonna be going your way. Now with that, I'm gonna show you now what is the price for this episode, for episode 8. So one of you is gonna be getting this beautiful yarn from the craft. I also purchased this yarn at my local yarn store, Stars Hollow Yarns, and they have a beautiful selection from the craft. This is 100% Shetland Island wool, and this is from West Yorkshire Spinners. This yarn I have used so many times, and I was talking to Patrice. Patrice is part of the team at Stars Hollow Yarns, and Patrice has also been an amazing tester for a few of my pieces. I love working with Patrice and her insight, and to see the pieces that she's working on when I go to Stars Hollows, and then I see her work on display in there. It's really, really nice. So I was telling Patrice the other day that when it is really, really cold, on a very cold winter day, like the coldest that it could be, the hat that I reach the most is this Mary hat. So this Mary hat I made also with the craft. And if you have worked with Shetland wool, you know that it's not a super soft yarn. It's not like you touch it and you say this feels like merino, because it does not. It's not super rustic either, but it is not as soft. But when I wear this hat, this is the warmest that I can get. It doesn't have a folded brim beanie. It doesn't have a folded brim, for example. It just has a regular brim. But I wear this beanie and I am super comfortable. Now we do a lot of things outside of the house. Even when it's that cold, when we do volunteer work, we have to wear these beanies, or because we are outside. So I don't ski or anything like that. But when we are outside, I think that's my point. When we are outside and I really need to be warm on a very cold day, this is the yarn that I wear. Now, when I wear it, I don't complain that the hat is itchy, that is not as soft. No, because I really feel that it's warm. It's not itchy to me. If you're sensitive to wool, maybe you can feel that, or maybe if you wear it next to your skin, you might feel that. But if, for example, somebody uses this yarn for a sweater, which has to be amazing, yes, I would say that you have to wear something underneath, so it's not against your skin. But again, I wear this beanie when it's really cold, and I do not complain at all of any itchiness. I don't know if it has to do with if I don't even know how that works, but it's not itchy to me. If I wear it, for example, on a fall day, maybe I can say it's a little bit itchy over here, but not when it's super cold. So this is a beautiful yarn that has amazing stitch definition. So let me show you again. This is the Mary hat, and it has cables. Now you can see some of the cables, even though this is not a solid color, but the stitch definition is amazing. I have washed this hat many times. It doesn't lose it. It doesn't lose its shape. It doesn't grow. It doesn't shrink. Nothing happens. It stays the same as from the first day when I made it. It is one of my favorite beanies to wear. So, um, and it's a very, very nice yarn. Very nice yarn. So I'm gonna be sending this yarn very happily to one of you. So all you have to do is leave a comment below if you wanna leave your comment as you watch the podcast. For example, if I'm talking about something that you wanna say, yes, I agree that it's so hard to stop after cables. I mean, you don't have to wait until the end to leave a comment. You can leave the comment as you are watching, like if we are having a little conversation right there. So I will choose a random winner from the comments right before I record episode 9 of the podcast. Now with this, we are reaching the end of the podcast, and I am gonna leave you now with a few minutes of footage that I took when my daughter and I went to the New York Botanical Gardens on April. There was an orchid show by Lily Kwong, and that's why we went. We haven't been there before at the Botanical Gardens. I don't even know why. I don't know because I would have gone before, but for I don't know why we just have never been there. So when I learned about the orchid show that she was gonna have, I went there before they took it away, and it was absolutely breathtaking. We drove to the Bronx. The first time that I drive from Connecticut to the Bronx, so I was a little bit nervous before I left, but it wasn't hard at all. It wasn't a hard drive. It was not like if you were gonna drive directly to Manhattan, for example, or Brooklyn. Um, so it was a nice drive. The day that we went was one of those days in April that was absolutely hot. It was like 90 degree. It was like a 90-degree day that day, super sunny. So when I was packing our extra clothes to bring, I brought the Candlewood cardigan that I showed you in the pictures before, and I said, if it gets cooler, you can just wear the cardigan. It's not gonna be like that cold. Maybe in the 70s or something, if it gets cool. But it was just so hot that the only time she wore her Candlewood cardigan was when we were in the orchid show, and there was like an area that was empty where I could get a few pictures. So she just wore it for the pictures, but there was no need to wear anything else that day. It was so hot. Now it was nice that the show was inside the conservatory because it didn't feel hot at all. It was very nice. It was a long. We had to walk along a lot in there, so it was very nice. But once you are outside and you wanna explore the cherry blossom areas or the park areas and all of that, yeah, that got to be quite a lot. So there was a point where I just said I can just not walk anymore. We waited for like an hour for the little bus that picks you up to take you to the next place. But we did walk a lot and we enjoyed it until the end when it was just too much. Now, thankfully, I packed enough water, enough snacks, fruits. So we were okay in that department. I just forgot to bring, for example, a baseball cap or something Forgot to bring our sunscreen, which would have been great because it was just too much. But it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Definitely, I am gonna go back at some point, and the next time we go, I think I'm just gonna sit more often. Now that we know where the different areas are, there is a lot to do in there. I think the next time, because we know already how everything looks and where everything is more time like to sit and relax in a few places, and not on a day that is super hot, because yeah, that was too much. But it was amazing to go on a day like that instead on a cold day or on a rainy day or anything like that. So I'm gonna leave you here um, to enjoy with some nice music, some of the things that we saw that day, and I hope that you enjoy that. So thank you for being here. If you like this podcast, I would appreciate if you press like, if you subscribe, if you would like to see the next episodes or everything that is in store from my side here in Connecticut. And thank you for being here. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for your support. I'm so glad to see in the comments that you guys are enjoying this, that you are knitting as you are watching and listening. So it feels like if we are kind of together, working together. So I'll see you next time. Happy knitting and happy making.